everyone. So, this week in writing, we're going to continue with poetry. I saw all or a lot of haikus on our morning announcements, and they were excellent. Good job. You did a good job. I'm sure if you were like me, you might have struggled a little bit to get your syllables correct in each line. And then as the week went on, you got better at it, I'm sure. You could feel the rhythm or figure out other words you could fit in that made more sense. Well, today we're going to cover this week, actually, we're going to cover a new kind of poetry, and you may recognize it. This makes sense. It's called acrostic. An acrostic poem, as you can see here, that is a poem that has the name of a person, a place, or a thing written in a vertical line in all capital letters. Then the poems develop from the first letter on each line, and the entire poem's about the name of the person, place, or thing. And the example used here are Snickers, which we all know what Snickers are, right? That candy. And so if you can see, a vertical line is going straight, sorry, Mrs. Donner's perceptually impaired, going straight down. And you can even see, if you get real close to that it's purple. It's not black, okay? So it says, Snickers are my favorite candy, and it's nothing like another. I is in my mouth, a party begins. C, caramel, chocolate, nougat, and nuts. K, keep chewing and chewing. E, every bite is a sweet delight. R, really delicious second after second. S, such a wonderful treat. Okay, so I know you've seen those before, and you may have even done them before. There it is, an acrostic poem, and you have that in your attachments, both in your Mrs. Porter's Kids and Mrs. Donner's Kids. So that's just what it is, and there's your example. And then it gives you a planning page, which I love. So you're going to brainstorm about a topic and then create your own. And that is, of course, day one. And then you can use that again and again if you want to. And then it gives you just another page to go ahead and do that. And what we're going to ask you to do is to start with your name. And then you can do pretty much any other name you would like. And a name just is sort of maybe easier than Snickers, trying to come up with a food or something, but a name would be a good thing. I'm using Maggie, which is not my name. And the reason I was just going to teach you with Maggie is because my first name is Margaret, or people call me Peg, which is actually a nickname for Margaret and no children. I don't know how that came about, but that's pretty short. Oh, and that's okay if you have a short name, that's also fine, obviously. But just to give you a little bit of idea, and I may not even finish the whole thing. When I'm trying to start with that beginning sound. Again, I wrote it real nice and big up here, okay? And so if I just put Maggie, she makes my day. Now notice, she makes my day. She's always smiling, gives great hugs. Now here's where I come to the second G, and I'm a little bit stuck. So just like in my last poetry lesson to all of you, Mrs. Porter's and Mrs. Donner, my children, when you go through and you look at the second G, for me now I'm stuck for a minute. So I could sit here and try and figure it out, just like in my brainstorming, I might have come up with words for Mag or ideas, but I'm coming in, I'm just going to skip it and come back, okay? So rereading is always helpful as well, makes my day, always fun, gives great hugs. So starting with G, I can start gives again, but that might be just gives and gives, might sound funny. Okay, so I'm going to come back. I is so smart, and E, everyone's friend. So makes my day, always fun, gives great hugs. I don't know. Is so smart, everyone's friend. So I'm going to go back in, and I would have brainstormed just things about Maggie that I might want to mention. Kind, funny, happy, smart, easygoing. So G, gives great hugs. Oh, I could even do this one. This is what we just recently found out. Great at puzzles. She's been my puzzle queen since we've been off, or not off, but home. All right. Makes my day. Always fun. Gives great hugs. Great at puzzles. Is so smart. Everyone's friend. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do that for your name. That's going to be your start. And then after you do your name, every day we're going to build up. One other thing you're going to do this week besides just your name and filling this out is you're going to do one about your mom because you know Mother's Day is coming. So just going to go back in here. I'm going to look at my planning page. Okay. If I am planning, sorry, because I have to use my foundation styles. If I'm planning this topic, it might be hard to come up with some words to write that then will fit in, but I'm sure I can do it. Sorry, I'm looking for, here we go. So if I'm talking about my mom, all right, I'm going to write like in here, she's a great cook. She is so kind and something called empathetic. Sorry, guys, it's small for Mrs. Donner. It might be small for you too. If you remember in my class when I said if it's too small for you, you don't have to use anything like this. You can make a list elsewhere. The only thing this gets going for me is so I didn't get stuck when I was doing that about Maggie, who it might be easier for me because she's my child. But if you can't think, and it might be easy to do yourself, if you can't think of things you want to put in because you want to talk about great things, it's good to come up with a couple things, just a couple things about whatever that is. If it was cupcakes, chocolate, icing, those kind of things. But in this case, we're talking about mom. Okay, helpful, kind, empathetic. And then I'm going to create my poem about my mom. And I'm going to just write mom. You might choose to write your mom's name. You might choose to write mother, mommy, whatever you would call her. But here is an example. This is what my son had made me when he was actually in second grade. And you can see the mom going down. It's sort of hard to see. M-O-M. Makes me laugh, offers love, marvelous in and out. And then he did this little fingerprint pom-pom thing. So when you go back, and you don't have to put it on here, if you have a piece of blank paper, sorry, my blank paper has something on it, but if you have a piece of blank paper, when you go on Wednesday to do the one about your mom, I would say think about what your artwork's going to look like. You can draw a picture on the bottom. You might want to paint something if you have paints at home. If you have watercolors, Mrs. Dunner always liked to do watercolors across a page like a rainbow and then write on it. You might want to go over your mom. You can see how light Charlie's is. You might want to go over your mom, M-O-M, in marker there. So she has it. And then, of course, that one, you don't have to hand that one in to me. If you want to go ahead and take a picture of one of your acrostics, that would be fine. But think about what you know about your mom. Like my kids always say I'm funny, and so makes me laugh makes sense. Okay? All right, guys, you have an attachment for every day, so you'll be fine. Good luck. I know you can do it. Have a good one.